So this video is for Module 2. It's called the Accounting Cycle, and we are not trying to make you into accountants, but really the objective here is to give you enough information for you to understand how all the information is accumulated, how all of the transactions are recorded in order for an organization to be able to prepare its financial statements. And so most of the information regarding how financial information is compiled is in the textbook. So it uses various techniques such as T accounts to show you what the debits and credits are to record various transactions. So you need to be aware as well, over and above what's in the textbook, things that are particular to cooperatives, such as how the patronage dividends are reflected in the financial statements. So you might want to go to your own co-op's annual report and have a look to see where they're reflected in your financial statements. So taxation is very different by jurisdiction, obviously, and it changes every year. Governments keep changing the tax laws. So we're not going to go really in depth into taxation in this course, but we do have a video that I would like you to look at. It's a video by Russ Wasson, who's with the National Rural Electric Association in the U.S., and he is one of the experts on tax, on cooperative tax in the U.S. And he's also coincidentally chair of the board of directors for CEARC, our Center of Excellence here at St. Mary's. So he'll give you a flavor of some of the issues encountered by cooperatives in the U.S. as it relates to taxation. So have a listen to that for sure. With respect to the financial statements, the lecture notes provide examples, of course, of financial statements as they would be presented in the U.S. So the notes provide some additional examples of cooperatives in Canada and the U.K. that are using various standards, so you can get a sense of how they look in terms of how the financial statements are organized and their presentation format. So in addition to understanding what the financial statements mean in terms of what's an asset and what's a liability and so on, it's also important to understand the usefulness of financial statements. So think about who's using the financial statements. Is it just your board? Do you just do distribution once a year at your annual general meeting? Are they sent out periodically to members? Are they provided to employees? Just think about who's using them. And also, it's also interesting to keep in mind who explains the results to users. If you are presenting the financial statements at your annual general meeting, would it be your CEO or your chief financial officer who would be explaining the financial results to the members? And how are they distributed? Is it just hard copy? Are they available on your website? Do you do a summary version? Are quarterly statements put on your website, etc.? So various cooperatives and credit unions would do a variety of things. Some would just issue annual financial statements. Others would do quarterlies and post them on their website. And also, you have to think about who's responsible for explaining the financial results to users. So who's responsible for explaining what the financial statements really mean? Some people could make the argument and say, well, you know, the members are responsible to do that, or the board has responsibility. But remember, in a co-op, the board has to be taken from the membership. So if you just by coincidence, for example, don't have a member who is an accountant who volunteers for the board, then maybe you don't even have that level of financial expertise that you should have on the board. So again, that's a responsibility for senior management to provide the education to the board members as well as to members about what the financial statements mean and to explain what the financial health is of the cooperative. So that is a very quick overview of Module 2.